slaughtered. Lots of carnage already in the air. Excellent, just running through the trenches, murdering anything that moves. Massing units. We could just start bombarding some of these. We could gas them out even, I suppose, if we wanted to. Welcome back to another MoisTea gaming video. We have the Entente on the back foot. We have a mass amounts of troops in Dunkirk waiting to storm Calais. This will be knocking the British out of the fight, hopefully, just as America has joined it. Now they are sending troops all over the place. They have plenty on the front line, many more than what we do. However, because we have a very strong air force floating around, it's deterring the enemy from having a gander. So we are using this to full advantage. Gonna start getting tanks along the entirety of the front as well. Just because we can. We really want to make sure they don't get any silly ideas of attacking themselves, because that will ruin our plans. So let's get 4 tank corps floating around. I'm going to start from Calais because down here I have the conscript troops more concentrated, which are weaker than the standard infantry. So having these tanks there with the planes will bolster their strength. They shouldn't be getting too giddy. If we have a look at the army intelligence, this area doesn't appear to have any tanks in it. But that's only one part of the front. They probably do, or they do now have tanks over in Calais again and Hazebrouck. We are not, however, going to be attacking Hazebrouck. Let's go straight for Calais. Anybody that is new here, welcome. Please do feel free to leave a comment. Everybody here is welcome to. I always do try to get to them all. I've been quite successful in that so far. Looking at the technology, what did we unlock last time? We got the range increase on the observation balloon last time. That really came in handy. Surprising just how much range that actually give. Other ones I want to try out is the timed airburst shell. That should be interesting. That should be like a massacre of anything in the open ground. So we'll have to have a gander. And I also want the machine guns to be improved on the harassment planes. We're going to have to see how that works out. I want to have a dabble at this flak panzer as well. It just sounds pretty cool, but we'll see how we get on. So let's get to it. The final push at Calais is about to happen. The game reckons it will be a stalemate. They have French Air Force, British tanks. We've got a large range of colonial troops in here. Got the British tanks, French airs, the Australians are here, the Indians, the Americans, the French and the Canadians. So we're going to be murdering just about everyone from around the world. In this episode, we have been steamrolling them quite thoroughly. If you are new, you will see what we mean in a minute. Nearly ready, set up. We've got lots of MGs. Mortars, artillery, a observation balloon. We're going to have 8 tanks come in with the stormtroopers followed behind. We're only going to have 2 elite infantries in these 2 areas as cover, as I don't think they'll get there anyway, and then we've got a bit of a wider overlapping defense for them anyway. So really there's 3, but it also protects the flank of our artillery positions, and we have lots of MGs here, meaning we can have many troops in the actual assault itself. Now I don't normally do this, but I'm actually going to use the siege artillery simply because Our main use is going to be the tanks. These are going to be blowing up anybody that is left. And with it being Calais and the final assault, I thought I'm going to go all in. All the planes are going to be out, all the tanks are going to be out, and the stormtroopers are going to be burning everything alive. Each one of these gives us lots of destruction. We can go for a maximum of 14 days worth of murderage. We will go for 10 days. That will be destroy 40% of all trenches destroyed, which probably really is not worth it, but to be completely honest, I don't care at this point. We've got so much supply, we can just dabble as much as we want. We're gonna force the Air Force in droves as well, with lots of mustard gas and everything in between. Bombardment on the way. We're gonna go all out on this. We're going to get the tanks in straight away. I'm gonna have these on Control 1. Lots of trenches destroyed, MG nests, mortars and everything else. Lots of troops will be gone. We're going to have to send some bombers in to destroy the artillery. I forgot what I was after them. We're going to have to get the balloon up, which I've neither forgotten. We're going to want a balloon busting mission. There will be a balloon somewhere. Here we go. Lots of enemy troops now being murdered. The enemy tanks have arrived as well. These are the Mark IVs. I think we've got a mission to destroy them. All of these troops are being slaughtered. Lots of carnage already in the air. Excellent. Their artillery is going to get smashed. We can get some harassment planes in as well for their resupplying areas. Let's move these further up. I would like to destroy those tanks, please. The bombers are on them as well. Just running through the trenches, murdering anything that moves. We are hitting their tank with our forward cannon, and look at this. There we go. Both of their tanks are dead. We have eliminated this entire section. We do have aircraft going for our balloon. Somehow they have gotten through our entire section. Something has had a go at our elite troops over here. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Maybe they got some artillery on the go. I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, we can start sending our troops up to capture this section now. Moving our tanks across now, which we can then eliminate all of this. Are they going on the attack? That's interesting. Let's get a few harassment planes in the air to help deal with that. These troops are being a little bit silly. Not entirely sure what's going on, but they're kind of on the way. I think there's a bit much for the game to process all at once. Regardless, we're going to be sending these in. Their little tank isn't going to stand much of a chance. Look at the size difference. It's going to get murdered. All their troops are being hammered as they cross the open field as intended. Our stormtroopers are running around. I think the game is actually struggling with just how much is going on. Get some more harassment planes in for their advancement. All the Canadians are dying, the Americans are dying, the French are dying, the British will be dead again as well soon. We're going to have this tank here just sat waiting. We can even, I've not even used the artillery yet. We can suppress this. Wondering if we could, we'll just bombard their artillery. For the time being, I don't like it, so we might as well hit it. Lots of units coming from this direction. We've got harassment planes coming in to help deal with it. If any do manage to get close, then they're just going to get singed Our tanks are thoroughly making light work of anyone that approaches this area, including up here. None of them are struggling. Now these troops are in. We can actually send them over to A now. Lots of actions going on. Let's get some harassment planes in. The Australians, the Indians, Canadians are all getting hammered. Not a good day to be part of the Entente. They are definitely struggling now. What's going on here? We have Americans running at a tank thinking they can do something about it when they can't. This is just a mess. I mean, yeah. Not much more really to say about that. We'll get these troops up north here. We'll get these ones going through first, otherwise we may end up getting stuck. All these are just slowly being murdered. The bodies will surely be piling up, all being defeated by German MG. Not very healthy. Okay, we have some things over here. We can eliminate these. Get our tank on the mortar. While our troops, which were supposed to be staying in the trench, run across the open ground. Maybe the comms trench got deleted. It's hard to tell sometimes. There we go, it's slowly going. We can get the other one destroyed as well. They're still sending units from this direction. This one's nearly knackered, so we'll send that one home, I guess. We'll keep 3 there, just murdering anybody, while we move these ones further up. And get some more units floating around this way. They must have some troops in here somewhere. Let's find them. These can just be roaming around here for the time being. C is now being captured, which is lovely. We can just keep 2 units at B to make sure nobody gets through. No one appears. Oh, there are this way as well. We'll get some more harassment planes in because we can. I can even gas them if they're going to be coming from this direction. Why not? Get the tanks a little bit closer to make sure they can't miss. The gas is not doing them any favours as soon as they enter the open field. And then they're just hit by mass amounts of machine gun fire. Not everybody's cup of tea. We are getting shot at, but they're just bouncing off. They can't reinforce from this section anymore. We can get these further up. All these are now happily floating around. Let's get them somewhere near, just so that we can get ready to take the command trench itself. We're going to have only 1 at sea while we have 4 shuffled over to take the command trench. I honestly think that that is now all of them dead. This has got to be some kind of time record. Excellent do. I'm just going to zoom through it now. There's nothing much really left to do. We can have a tank sat there just so that they get the morale boost when they go to take the command trench itself. All the artillery is destroyed. Let's just get the troops in. There are troops always in the command trench, 2 of them. Not much left to do apart from wait a minute. Let's get them murdered. In they go. It would be nice if they just burnt the lot. Here we go. There's 2 of them in there. They're doing a very nice job of beating back our stormtroopers. Let's get some more troops in there. There we go. We've taken it. And that is it. Excellent do. Calais has been destroyed. That must have been the most efficient murderage we have done. That took 4 minutes-ish. Not bad. There we go. Calais has been taken. Excellent job. The battle for Calais is over. Wow, we really did make a profit on this one. Excellent. Region captured. That only cost us 120 quid. We actually gained 280 quid from that, and extra supplies and everything else. What a good do. We murdered, what, close to 13,000 men. They murdered close to 250 of ours. I'll take that as a win any day. National will destroyed further. Well done. With support from home, we can continue to achieve a victory. We got 360 supply from that. What a good do. So where do we go next? We won't get to Paris in time before they give up. We could go for an encirclement, I suppose. Potentially. Or we could just keep shoving them back. Regardless, we're going to have to end at the turn anyway. If we go for Hazebrook, it will shorten our line further. We'll do that, I think, actually. Nothing more to do but end the turn. Will they attack back? No, they won't, because they don't have any cash. November 1917. So, where are we up to? Well, we have Hazebrook with a grand selection of units. We have Montreal and things. We could just go for Hazebrook. An encirclement of some kind will be nice, but I don't think really we have the spare troops roaming around. I think everywhere along this front we have just over half of what they have on the opposite side, meaning I can't really pinch anybody. Let's have a look at these events. Birth of the Soviet Union. Oh, okay. The war with Germany took a great toll on Russia, both in lives and the economy. Each military failure increased anti-war sentiment, and calls for revolution were rampant. Eventually, Tsar Nicholas II used violence to quell growing riots in St. Petersburg, and soldiers began to mutiny. Tsar Nicholas was forced to abdicate his throne, leaving behind a provisional government. Lenin fanned the flames with his April theses, pointing out the incompetence of the new government. Further military failures and food shortages proved Lenin's arguments. After storming the Winter Palace, Vladimir Lenin and his Bolsheviks assume complete control over the nation. Interesting. National will further reduced, ours increased. Can't see any troops coming from the Eastern Front yet, which is quite a annoyance. Another one. Demoralize them. Destroy 2 Indian infantry companies, and we get 400 quid. Well, we've just done that, so it would have been good to have the mission then. Let's get the increased damage. Oh, we can't do that until we've got this one. That's annoying. Well, we'll go for the airburst then. I want to see how that goes. I just want to know if that's just going to be a canister shell as such and just explodes in the air, filling everything with shrapnel. That would be quite entertaining. We can have a look at Noyon. They've got nothing. Oh, they've got tanks in Villas Brentonux. That's probably said completely wrong on many levels, but it is what it is. Altogether, we're doing quite fine. Let's get more tanks in to stick them in the lines. All of this section of the front line now has a tank corps in it. Only got this blob to do now. We can have a look at attacking Hazebrook, for example, now. What shall we do? Managed to steal some units from the front line to occupy Dunkirk with. And now we're going to have to build the field hospital and things in Calais itself. I spent more money on getting 2 air wings equipped here as well. We're going to have to save 1 turn anyway, because we need to have these units ready to attack. We're just going to attack all 3 of these areas. We could go for an encirclement, but at this point I'm just going to go for a thorough smashing. Experimenting as much as possible with new techniques, for example the air burst and various other bits, simply because after I've done this campaign, which is going to be soon, looking at the national will score, I'll be doing the game on elite mode as the Allies. Now that is going to be a bit of a challenge, so I need to see what works well for me. I might as well do it in the remaining time we have in this campaign, all for your entertainment. Nothing left to do bar from end the turn. More money in. We need to see where those tanks went, really. Army intel. They've moved things into Hazebrook. Quite a lot of things, while Montreal is quite weakened. There's not much at that location. We're just going to attack Hazebrook for the sake of it. We're going to get a field hospital. Not that it makes much difference these days. What is this event? Halifax Calamity. The French cargo ship SS Mont Blanc, carrying high explosives for the war effort, collided with a Norwegian ship SS Emo in the Halifax harbour in Nova Scotia, Canada. The resulting explosion was heard miles away and was estimated to be the explosive equivalent of 2.9 kilotons of TNT. Approximately 2,000 people were killed by the blast or the resulting collapsed buildings and fire. All structures within a half-mile of the blast were destroyed. A tsunami created by the blast wiped out several towns in the Tufts Cove area, including a native Maquis settlement that had lived there for generations. Rescue efforts are ongoing but are being hampered by a blizzard. That sounds like a mess. I do wonder though, have any of you that are watching heard of the ship which is full of explosives in the Thames? Yes, that is still there, and you can see the tops of some of the funnels or the masts ready to go bang at any time. We don't really know, and it's as the hull is crumbling, the munitions are leaking. Google it, it's quite good. Interesting, there's a couple of documentaries on it. Highly recommended. Let's go and murder things in Hazebrook and see what happens with this airburst thing. Oh, they have raiders. They might actually pose a threat to the tanks. Let's have a gander anyway. Back into winter. We're going to have to build our defenses again. I'll do them how I usually like them. Made a right masterpiece in this one. I've properly gone all out on this. Let's have a look what it looks like in the battle, shall we? Now, this is some extensive trench work. Lots of barbed wire and everything else. This is a masterpiece. Lots of MGs and all the lovely juicy stuff that we have here. MGs, mortars. Lots of tanks ready to go forwards. We have this comms trench system which works as well, and if the enemy do decide to use it, if they can get there, then they're going to get hammered by any mortars that are floating around as well. There are plenty of them. all of the artillery in. Oh, this is just good. This is my favourite one yet. Look at it go. All the barbed wire in between and everything else. Lovely jubbly. This is going to be our staging point. We can escape through this section if they need to. And go towards C and just generally blow them to bits. Now we have a lot of tanks here as well. Lots of supply to go. We have our observation balloon. Let's get that up in the air and have our first gander. We're going to want... Oh, there's lots of Belgians here. Artillery far forward. Lots of artillery further back as well. Here are the tanks. There's their balloon. Well, we know what we're going to do first, and that is destroy the balloon. Going to want a couple of air supports there as well. We're going to want bombers to destroy this. With an air support, they are sending planes in. We're going to want another bomber here and here. Again, with another bunch of aircraft in. Not sure what their intended target is, but I don't think it's an air support. They're bringing more planes in as well. I think they're just generally trying to go for our units. We've got 2 on them. They might take out the bomber here. What's going on this way? They're going for our balloon. Damn it, get away from that thing. We have destroyed a British fighter, and we're going to destroy another one. What's going on here? We are getting on the backs of them. We've just got too many airplanes in the sky for them to deal with. Excellent job. Now the artillery is being bombarded. There's even more artillery here. Let's get that bombed, shall we? Get our balloon back up in the air as well. That would be ideal. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's quite a few of them here. They are sending probing attacks. They're only going to get melted, however. We have lots of units ready to go. They may get close enough to launch a couple of grenades, but that doesn't matter, really. They're just going to get melted as soon as they get close. Another MG shooting that one. Excellent. What's going on here? Oh, they're running at the tanks. That's never going to do them any favours. All deaded. Excellent job. All gone. Their artillery is a mess. Their tanks are floating around as well. We might as well start this now. They're sending in more units. Let's get on with it with our artillery out of the way. We can now just send in the tanks. Oh, well, actually, before we do anything, let's try out that airburst thing. Fires a single barrage of explosive shells that explode in the air, releasing shrapnel, deadly to infantry, but does no damage to emplacements or tanks. Infantry in firing trenches are not protected from an airburst. Are you telling me that if these get doubled up... We're bombing their tanks already. If these get doubled up, for example, which might just happen here, will that then be extremely effective? Hopefully these will run in. Yeah, let's see what the airburst does. Oh, they don't like that. But is that it? That's it. That is not worth 70 supply for. Absolutely not. They are in a trench. Maybe it would work better if they're out in the open. No, not a fan of that. What else do we have? Oh, we could just storm them now, I suppose. They do have snipers, so I don't really want to engage them full on. Perhaps we'll clear the trench first, just like we normally do. Now, they're going to send plenty of reinforcements in. If we just trudge these along, everything will be happy. Could even bombard some of them to make this a little bit quicker. No, not the light artillery, just the normal ones. They will be sufficient. Excellent job. They are now becoming in range now. Their artillery is firing. It's only one, however. Let's send another bomber over to help deal with that. One artillery is not going to be enough to get rid of these tanks. We could just steamroll them up. They're probably going to send a couple of units from this direction constantly, so we can have two sat there while we deal with that. There aren't any elite raiders here, thankfully. The tank is approaching. Let's deal with that though. There we go, that is dead. Nice. And we can get these units moved on. That mortar is going to cause us some issues. Better send in the infantry, kind of forgetting about these. They're not as needed half as much as previously, given the tanks do all the work, but it saves casualties on many fronts, that is for sure. Saving casualties saves money, and no, we just lost 2 tanks. Did they have raiders there? If they did, I didn't see it. That is a bit of a blow. Quite annoying, actually. Oh well, you live and learn. Watch out for the raiders. Here are all of their massing units. We could just start bombarding some of these. We could gas them out even, I suppose, if we wanted to. That would be quite entertaining. They just stood there trying to destroy a tank like that. Isn't going to work, but nobody's told them that. The artillery's all down. They only have these sections left. Do we gas them out, or do we gas them out once we start attacking? They've got 2 more tanks here. That is the MG tank, and that is not. That's got the bigger guns on it, I believe. Didn't they use naval guns on these as they were doing their thing? We're tired already. We need to get this. This is the command trench, so we better get a few units up there. Start capturing that. This is going to be a steamroll again. We have lost 2 tanks, but that's more due to me not paying attention more than anything. I think they're okay. We're still being hit by a sniper fire all of the time. Where did those men come from? I've no idea where they came from. That is quite irritating. Well, those raiders as well. Oh, they've got raiders all hit. Right, we're going to gas these out. Oh, we've got units in there now. We better not. We'll end up blowing up our own men. We don't want that. Let's get a few more of these in. Don't want our units to be so close to the enemy. The tanks, at least, anyway. Because they just decimated. How come we can't see them that well? I think that's trying to shoot what I'm pointing at. Don't necessarily want that. Not too sure what's going on, to be honest. None of these are firing. I think we might be a little bit on the buggy side. Let's get rid of all them quickly if we can. There we go. Excellent job. Now we can just send in more units. Get some of these grenadiers in because we can. Is that not an advanced firing trench? Looks a little more robust than the others. I think we're breaking the game. We've got one guy trying to singe ours. Not too sure exactly what's going on, but we can get these into a nice line again while we prepare to assault the next section. There are always 2 units. They've got the Indians in there. Very good fighters. You're a little bit tired, but it doesn't matter. If we can just get these in a line, if they behave, or if I click them correctly, everything would be good. They're actually reinforcing from this section now, which isn't ideal, but soon take care of that. All nicely done and dusted. The command trench will soon be ours, while we think about doing horrible things to all of these men in this direction. We could get a few bombers in, take care of these emplacements, just because even the tanks are going to be a threat, so we might as well send bombers in against them. Our tanks are now in a nice juicy formation. Let's get them ready and even send them down. All of these men are currently stuck. Let's just hammer them, shall we? Let's get some of the heavy artillery in, because we can. This will also stop them from harming our troops that have grenadiers there. I need to make sure that they don't cause us too much damage. Their tank is actually causing us significant damage to ours. Our tank's going to go down. Quick, send it out. No, was it quick enough? Interesting. Their tanks are very strong. There we go. Now we've sorted that out a bit more properly. All of this area is just being decimated. None of these are raiders, so aren't really a threat to the tanks. We do have units still coming from this direction. You need to go home because you're just being sniped as you're out of the trench. You need to keep that occupied while you run over here and take care of this. Now we can have one or two just stashed over here to deal with that while we start doing things to these. Let's gas them out. We've not done that in this episode yet. Gassing them is very lovely to do. They do like it. They like the smell of the mustard gas as it does them wonderful favours. Are any of them... Oh, look at this. They're all just jumping out the trench. That tank does need to go home though. But all of them are just gone. Get rid of that mortar. Look at that. They're all gone. All of them. Dead. Or dying. That is a lot of units. We need to get our units in there, but we need to make sure we don't gas our own troops though. Hopefully they don't get raiders in on our own areas. We can't reinforce from this area anymore, so they're going to be coming from here, just as I thought. And over here we'll have a tank at each one. Need to make sure that these troops don't end up gassing themselves on our lovely gases. They're all being murdered. And send that tank home, it's certainly done its job. These are the elite infantries. Are taking over the entire area. I'm going to call that a wrap. Oh, just realised we did the mission. Defeat 3 Mark IV tanks and defeat 2 Indian companies. We've spent a lot of money on these entrenchments. Hopefully they will actually get used, because they are extremely nice. There we have it. Hazebrook has been swept clean. What did we lose this time? We lost 2 tanks in that one, 4 fighters. Oh no, that's what they lost. Oh, we lost 4 tanks. Well, yeah, the Grenadiers murdered 2 of them in the beginning, didn't they? Notice how expensive they are to actually replace. That is significant. The enemy, however, are more definitely paying for it. Morale is certainly going down. Completing this mission gives us more, and completing this Gives us more money as well. That is juicy. The enemy don't appear to have any more units coming in right now. And Hazebrook looks knackered. Did we actually lose? No, we've still got all 10 in the tank battalions. What about the air? Where's that gone? We still have 10 air wings as well. You've really got to actually destroy quite a few of them to eliminate the unit from the map, which is quite significant. Looking at the tech, what should we go for next? I'm reckoning the MGs. I don't really think there's any new toys which we can play with. Let me know what you think. I will be calling this a do now. This has been a slightly longer episode than normal. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, do leave a comment on your thoughts. I do try to get to all of them as soon as I possibly can. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.